Welcome to Inside Style, and I am your host, George Royal. Thank you for tuning in today. As everybody knows out there that knows me very well, is I am a jazz enthusiast, and I am excited to present and to introduce and to talk about the iconic Marcus Johnson. Marcus has created a successful business. He is a concert, wonderful pianist, and global. He got his BA degree in music from Howard University and a law degree and an MBA from Georgetown University. He was named Young Entrepreneur of the Year by the U.S. Small Business Administration and made his TED Talks debut at NYU in 2016. This brother has got it going on. There's such a long, great career, stellar career, NAACP Image Award. We could go on and on, but welcome to the show. It's been at least 10 years since I've seen you. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna argue with that, but it's been too long. Whatever it is.
Yeah, but it's just like we've seen each other yesterday. But I followed your career, and it's stellar. Thanks. And it's wonderful seeing someone of your talent accessible. How did that journey start from Howard to law and mixing it all together and having a fabulous wine flow? How did all of that start? That the talent and the entrepreneurship.
You know, I think it started at home. Honestly, I come from a family of very talented, brilliant brothers and sisters. Okay. You know, all of us are doctors and lawyers. Mom is from Tennessee and I had a mixed kind of youth. My stepfather was Muslim. I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood, if you can imagine that, right? Mm-hmm. So Orthodox Muslim household, mom is Christian, Jewish neighborhood. So I saw everything. Mm-hmm. And the influences there were about excellence. And in the 70s, 80s, that meant a lot of discipline. And that meant a lot of time cell phones, of spending time with yourself, trying to figure out what you are, who you are. We were always challenged to be the creators that we're, made in the likeness of. Mm-hmm. And so it started there, man, with the music and then going to school and always wanting to be different, but knowing that I had the ability to do it. It's one thing to be like Mike, and I always used to say in high school, I don't want to be like Mike. I want to be like the dude that pays Mike. And from there to, I went to the University of Miami before I went to Howard because I wanted to do music, but I always knew that I needed to have some other skill that I could use to supplement and complement what I do.
Well, law would be pretty high on the scale,
And after, a very interesting, record deal scenario, and it's not like what we hear in the news right now, but it is a very, that industry is dysfunctional. I'll use the safe word right there, right? And if dysfunctional is your safe word, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. But understanding the dysfunction in the music industry and then saying, I'm not going to be in that position again. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be like Mike. I don't need to ever be on that side of the desk again. How do we then navigate around that? Well, law school and business school helps. And then continuing on, and my journey is one of I can do whatever I put my mind to it. And you can too. My students at Howard, I tell them anything I can do, you can do better.
So that seeing what it was, the dysfunction, meaning looking at your contracts, seeing what came back to you, how you wanted to pursue, the revenue, those kinds of things. The horror stories that we hear about artists not owning their own, music and all of those things. Were those things that you were thinking about, that you wanted to be in total control of the things, your creativity, the things that you created, your projects?
Exactly. I mean, more so I was mad, when everything didn't go well, and I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And then, after going to school, you figure out that even the nomenclature within copyright and trademark law deals with the term exploitation. And I mean, literally in what is it, 17 USC section, 105 through 108, it talks about the unique rights that you have, and I hope I quoted that right, but it talks about the rights that you have as a copyright owner, and it's to exploit your works. And I think people took that to heart as it relates to the exploitation of people and a group of people and artists. In many ways, I think it's almost, you don't want to have like a conspiracy theory or it's structured, but it was just a matter of let's tell these people that one half of their brain doesn't work. Right. And by the way, your brain isn't in halves; it's in lobes. Right. So, one half of your brain doesn't work. So I'll take care of that half of the work for you. And that happens to be the exploitation, a component of the business. Yeah. I'll take care of the business for you. You just go out there and make this content. Right?
And you feel like,
I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, you need a little extra dough? Here's a little allowance. Wait, that's my money. And, for a long time, we did not understand that because I think in our culture, whether it's artists or, just in the African American community, we just want to be next to you. Hey, just give me the chance. Let me sit at the table. Everybody else is like, no, I want the table you, and I want you cleaning my table, and I don't care what I need to do to put you out there for you to do it. And as you go and spending time at the general counsel's office at Universal, and while everybody else was going doing happy hour, I was in the vault. So I saw contracts all the way back to Judy Garland, Bing Crosby, and you see how paid their contracts for some of the most successful people of all time were 2 pages, and how now record contracts are 50 pages, and the things that you scroll down that you don't even see when you release your work on DistroKid or Spotify, or direct there. It's like code at Microsoft Windows. It's just gotten almost worse. And, it's like you never missed the opportunity to make this even worse. And if you don't understand that, if you don't know how to look through 50 pages of contracts and understand what a 360 deal is, or understand what an NIL deal is, understand how they work, that's it. But they have convinced us that one side of our brain doesn't work. So if I tell you you're right-brained and let me take care of the left brain stuff,
I know.
No, because your left side of your brain doesn't work. You're right-brained. You're a creative. The best business people I know are creative, and the most successful artists I know are business people.
So do you think you have to switch hats, or it's in one hat, and you just kind of switch it from playing and coming up with all these wonderful melodies that you're doing, and then, okay, I need to look at this contract. So once I've finished this and I'm marketing it, I need to put this hat on so that I know about distribution, I knew what's in this contract, all of those things. Is that a different hat, or is that merged?
So it depends on your goal, right? So if you're doing it as a business, you're on all the time. Because when you get on stage, you better know which songs your fans like, because they will let you know as they scream it from the crowd. I want to hear 88 Ways to Love. I've been following you. I heard Enigma every night on Pandora. I want you to do, what's another one that they call out? 18th and M. Chocolate City Groovin'. Excuse me. So you always are on when it's your business. What I think artists have been, let's say, brainwashed out of is understanding that. So what they end up doing is saying, hey, look, I want you to go on stage and be an artist. No, you never stop selling. So the way you play, you're giving a show, and et cetera. And then people are like, well, I don't want to, and this, that, and the other. I was like, it's just like a painter. You can paint all you want. Do you want to sell your paintings? Well, and I was at Meetum, the conference in Cannes every year, right? Somebody's like, but let's get back to the music, and it's about the music. I'm like, no doubt the foundational component of what we do, the seeds, are the music. But what are you planting? Because you can't plant failure and expect success. Right? You can't plant potatoes and start looking for carrots. Where are these orange things? Dude, you planted these, knobby little things that are, dirty in the ground. These other roots over here, right? What are you planting? And really understanding that component of it. So for a business musician who's an artist and understands that this is their business, you are always on.
And you know, over the years, I've seen you in different venues, different places. It's almost, do you choose? What is your choosing mechanism of saying, I'm going here or I'm not going there, or do you? Because it's almost like Joan Rivers said she would play wherever the audience was and there was payment. How do you decide where your music is going to, where you're going to perform?
So long as it does not go against a moral value of mine, I will play where there is payment that is commensurate to my rate. You know, hey, do you do birthday parties? I sure do. Here's my fee. You know, I had a woman who's a big fan. She's like, I would love to have you at my 70th birthday party. And I was like, so let's get face to face so we can talk. And we met in Silver Spring and had a meeting. And it was just like, you know, this is my fee. Like, I'll give you a discount of this. It's your birthday. You've been a fan for a while. I will support you. But I can't, I will not be doing this for free. Because, you know, my daughter's tuition, if I tell them I need something for free, they're going to look at me and be like, yeah. So by the 20th of this month, if you don't have your check, you know, Chase won't be able to attend school this year. Same thing with my car. You know, as a matter of fact, it's April 3rd. I got to take care of that today. You know, I mean, there's these things where you don't get leeway. So this is business.
But I don't understand what it is with the arts and these different types of things that people want to barter and bargain. Because when you go to a store and you put those loafers, those Gucci loafers or whatever it is that you're buying, they expect payment.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
So why do you think that you can barter with an artist or their projects or their whatever?
There's a collective brainwashing, right? And the collective brainwashing is that we are left, you know, right brain, whatever it is for creatives, that we're creatives and we don't understand business, and what we want is popularity. You know, we want fame. I can get you exposure. I don't need exposure.
That doesn't pay Pepco.
Yeah, and I pay my bills. So opportunity cost. For me to come and do this for you is taken away from me, even if I'm getting rest and living my quality of life, unless you show me how it fits into then a moral box where I'm helping out in the community and I have a certain amount on my balance sheet of time that I can actually do that. So, you know, it is you really, the fundamental issue is we have not been taught that we are CEOs of ourselves. We are all entrepreneurs in our 24 hours of the day that we have in this short life that we have. If we were actually taught the real, you know, components of what it is to be a human being, then we could actually human be and not just do what everybody else wants us to do and have these goals. Because everybody that I know that made money, their goal is miserable. Everybody that I know that made fame their goal and has gotten it is miserable. Every, you know, dude that I know that, you know, is about, you know, significant others and, you know, getting the girls that you want, you know, in my circle, it is like, they're like, they get it and then they're like, well, why am I miserable? Because it was the wrong thing. What did your mirror want? What do you want from you? And when you're taught that and to do the business plan of you, all of this stuff really, you know, it's like turning the contrast on your photo. You get to see things clearly. And that's where we need to start. And for me, these are some of the things now that I have my non-negotiables. I'll talk to you later. You know what I mean? Because I'd rather go play golf with my friends as I get older and realize that I'm losing them than play. Did you say what? Look, I have hundreds of thousands of people listening to me on Spotify. I do get, you know, taken care of there. I have, you know, events that we're doing like Emancipation Day. Well, community. I can do that with somebody who's in the community standing up for our rights and things like that. Yeah. We got that covered, right?
But not your party for free, you know.
And why? In the wine business, I have to explain to people I am not in the wine donation business.
I want to talk about that too, because I just so think that wine goes with jazz because it just does. But let's talk about flow. How did you think about, what was the encouragement? What was the spark that said, hey, I really want to do this and do it well?
Yeah. So I'll start with the do it well part. I try to do everything at the top. I mean, if I'm going to be involved with it, I give it my all. and that's from the kind of creation phase where you're developing it to looking at the target markets, the psychographics, why, who are and how are the people who experience this? How do they experience wine and music? Where do they experience it? Not just are they educated or in this age or whatever. 'Cause we have 25-year-olds that love flow, and we have 85-year-olds that love flow, and Marcus Johnson, right? So it was an outgrowth of the change in the music industry, and in the early 2000s, the first decade. MP3.com, P2P, sites, and the like changed everything. Mm-hmm. And when they started putting fiber optics down and people could get things and digital recorders in their machines, it was like you gotta figure something out. I heard a quote last night where Jimmy Iovine went in and had a meeting with Steve Jobs. And he's like, look, you're about to put these, things into these Apple computers, these burners. You're going to ruin our business. And apparently Steve Jobs said back to Ivan's like, not all business models were made to endure time. And then said, do you have any more questions? Right, so Ivan, he's a gangster. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm not playing. I'm not taking any games, right? And Steve Jobs, in a matter of a sentence, shut that down. And so, if you are on the other side of that, which most record companies that no longer exist are or were at the time, you lose out on the opportunities that present themselves in the future. It's like we're facing AI now. What does that mean? Well, let's be about the creation of the model on the other side. And wine was a perfect outgrowth. Number one target demographic was women. Mm-hmm. I, enjoy wine myself. And when I realized and did the deep dive, because I was reading Howard Schultz's book, Uncommon Ground at the time, and he said that he had to ask the Starbucks staff and executives what business were they really in, which was a third place business. Mm-hmm. And so it was like home, office, Starbucks. I figured we weren't in the music industry. Marcus Johnson, the jazz piano player, is not in the music business. Most successful jazz artists are not in the music business, right? Mm-hmm. We're in the therapy business. So I can't think of better therapy than after a hard day at work, going home, listening to your Marcus Johnson, and then getting a glass of flow.
Yeah, I just am just amazed at the creativity and all of the things that you've added to the world, not just this country. Music is the key. Music is something that will mellow you, it will inspire you, and you've done that. We thank you so much. But, one of the reasons we're talking today is that you are involved in Emancipation Day in D.C. You will be joining Mayor Muriel Bowser and Director LaToya and doing the festivities for Emancipation Day. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I always smile when I see a D.C. license plate that says, basically no taxation without representation, right? And, I hear the arguments on the other side of it, but it's like, a shadow senator isn't a senator. The vote doesn't count, and that's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And, you are taking taxpayer dollars for this. Yes, you have the right to vote, but you need representation as it relates to the allocation of funds, the declaration of war, the approval of people on the cabinet, and that happens with your representative. Yeah. And it's the whole idea of representative reinforcement, where you have those people that actually go and lobby for you and represent you in Congress. So in and of myself, I think that where we are, we need to reevaluate everything. 80% of the population lives east of the Mississippi River.
And it's so good that we have people like Director Foster and Mayor Bowser who are African American women who feels so strongly and putting all of this effort into making sure that not only do we celebrate it, but we celebrate it in grand style. Now, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I was the event planner for Emancipation Day, and it has grown. Yeah. It's grown from Ward 5 when I did it with Chuck Brown to this huge thing, across, at Freedom Plaza. I do know that it's on Sunday, April 14th at Freedom Plaza. From 2 p.m. to 8:30. I think the parade starts at 2. The concert starts at 3. And fireworks at 8:30. That's going to be amazing. Yeah. And have you chosen what you're going to play? Or, you're still thinking?
I do it when I get up there. I mean, we have our sets and stuff like that, but it's going to be fun. And of course, we always add in a flavor of DC because most people don't know that I started playing music in a go-go band back in the day. And I was in a band called Air Raid back in the day, and Maryland's go-go band, right? Okay. So, that's a fun fact, and I play with all the guys. So we'll have some components of that, but it'll just be fun, man.
It'll be fun.
We get in there. We get a 30, 40-minute set, and we kill it. So
and we celebrate, yeah. So we want our listeners to go to DCEmancipationDay.com, and you can RSVP there. We will see you there. We want to thank Marcus Johnson for coming in today. You got to come back because there's more stuff I want to talk about.
Let's get the 14th down, get emancipated, and not exploited. You know what I'm saying? And let's go out there and do what we do. So thank you again. And real quick, how can our listeners get you on social media? If you want to find me, you can do so at Marcus Johnson 360, and anything online for wine, candles, or whatever at MarcusJohnson360.com.
Love it. Thank you for tuning in to Inside Style. I'm George Worrell, and remember, real style starts with being comfortable in your own skin. See you next time.